I always grab it by the keel. It's the easiest place to grab the boat when it's on the shore, and I believe it's the strongest too. Always try and hold the boat so that you've got no weight, or as least weight as you can on the sail, and that way it won't put any pressure on the keel box. To prevent the sails from flogging, if you hold them a horizontal plane behind you and walk with the boat behind you, I find that to be the best way to handle the boat in a strong breeze. General maintenance and things you should check. Always check the sheet lines just to make sure that where they're pulling through the little eyelets that there's no chafing or any marks that look like that there's wear. So just keep an eye on your sheet lines. The particular point is the pivot point here. Always keep an eye on that because that's moving all the time. So they do wear out. So just be awareness of that. Do visual checks on the boat. Every now and then have a good look at it. Just make sure that there's no wear points on your halyards, top, and I said the sheet lines. Before we go sailing, what do? I always make sure that inside the boat I put a tissue or a paper towel. If you should get a leak or you should get water in the boat, the paper towel will sop it up, stop it from getting into the electrics. So always put. There's several different type of patches that you can use. I normally cut my own patches. I use a sail material which you can buy from most chandeliers, or you can go to a sail maker. But I cut a patch round about 75 by 40. It's a good sized patch, goes over the battery area, and it gives you a good surface to adhere to. I like a little bit of insurance. I use the tape. It's the Joy's Way tape you can buy, and I put a bit of that over the patch for the back. There's two things. You get the solid hatch, plastic hatch, which Joy's Way provide, and that's quite good. Most people would probably be using that. The black sailcloth patch that they give, I cut into about 15-20 millimetre strips, and I put it around the outside, and that way you can see into your receivers, you can see your servers. There's a Mylar material you can buy. It's you buy it in a roll. It's an adhesive patch. It's lighter, and it's got a great adhesion around the outside. It's easy to put on, but you need to put it on wet with a bit of detergent. If you're using that material like I've got here, and you were putting a patch on, you'd put it on the night before. You wouldn't put it on an hour before you go sailing because it takes a while to go off. But you put. The other important thing, and something that does wear out regularly, is the elastic, the sheeting elastic, which is here. The material I like to use now is what's on this is a bit thicker, and it's just a hat elastic which you can buy from Spotlight or Woolworths, anywhere where there's haberdashery and that type of thing, and it's a slightly better product. Each time you take your patch off, you always end up leaving a little bit of residue. So get into the habit of wiping it around with a little bit of terps. It's not too strong a solvent. Things you shouldn't use is acetone. Any strong solvents, metho, don't use that anywhere near the boats. It melts the plastic. I'm referring to the mast bearing. That's in the gooseneck. There's two small bearings in there. Give them a good flush out with fresh water, and then a squirt with Lanox or something similar. You know. Pull your bung out, your hatch off. Put the boat up. Obviously, if anything comes out of it, you know you've got a problem. Don't be misled. There's water gathers in around the mast step inside here, and it's just got some cavities which are part of the mouldings. Make sure you empty that out first, because it runs down the back of the boat, and people pull the bung out and think, oh, the boat's got water in it, and it really hasn't. It's just the excess water running off the deck and running out of these hatches. Your boat could be perfectly dry. So get in the habit of giving the boat a good shake first, get rid of the water off the deck and out of the mast step, then pull your bung out. Also, if you've got any condensation, that's generally a bit of an indicator of, there's water in the boat. Don't be misled. You'll always get a certain amount of condensation in these boats because there's a heat build-up from the service and the winches, and you've got sheet lines coming in and out, dragging in water. So you're always going to get a little bit of condensation. Don't be too alarmed about that. I always take that patch off with the battery patch and the bung, and I'll let the boats air. should the worst happen and you get a leak or you're getting water in your boat, the best thing to do if you to find the leak, I find, is to seal the boat up as if you were going sailing, rub soapy water or some sort of a solution over it, and then blow into the bunghole at the back, pressurise the boat, and you'll find bubbles coming out wherever the leak is, whether it's maybe a hatch, maybe a crack in the hull. But that's a good way of finding it, is to sort of blow a bit of pressure, not too much. You've got to blow a fair bit, but I wouldn't put an air compressor in there or anything that strong, but just blow into it, and if you see any bubbles coming out anywhere around the extremities, you know that you've got a crack or a problem. Don't leave the boats in sunlight. If you're storing them at home, keep them away from windows. The plastic, I don't know what it's made of, but I don't think it's not UV stabilised, so it does break down. The boats do go brittle with time, so the more you can keep them out of the sunlight, the better, I believe. If you're having a break, it's a good point to throw a towel over the boats just to keep the heat off them, because I carry a toolkit with me, a little wallet, and if you're at regattas, you need a few essentials. A pair of tweezers is almost, well, they are essential. When you're trying to rig a boat in the wind out in the paddock, it's hard to get the sheets through. A pair of tweezers just makes the job so much quicker. Always have your Allen keys close by, particularly the small one, which you need for the adjustment on the mast step, because that needs to be adjusted with different rigs and different wind strengths, so that's always a good thing to have in the toolkit. Phillips head screwdriver, the slotted screwdriver, you never know when you're going to need them. Tape measure. I also use a little 6-inch fixed rule. It helps measure you on certain areas to get your accuracy. It just helps to do that. A pair of needle nose pliers. Always have some spare twine or lanyards. I always keep a bit of that. Have some spare elastic close by. It's quick to replace and easy to replace if you've got it close by. After sailing, I've got a little procedure I go through. I wash the boat down, fresh water, always get the salt off it.